What's up guys, Joe Youngblood here. I'm a habitat specialist with Whitetail Habitat Solutions, and I hope everyone is having a great day out here for pretty much a quick trip. Today, the other goals I really wanted to get done, I've mentioned in my last couple of videos, and that is getting stuff out here prepped and ready to go for spring planting season. This is like the driest area. You can see this field is very dry, but the paths and everything to get here, the driveways, like when this snow melted, there are puddles and stuff, and everything is quite wet. It was freezing this morning. It's warming up to like 35, 40 degrees or so. So I knew this one might be one of my last chances to have some pretty solid ground, really overload this ATV trailer, of course, with 80 or so T-posts. And then I'm dropping piles of 12 or so T-posts. That's 2 pockets. Again, if you're not familiar with these bedding pockets that we talked about, go back, watch that last video that I just posted on prepping for these pockets. I go over exactly how they're gonna look, what we're using in the pockets, and all of that good stuff. As a side note today, I wanted to mention real quick a little bit on depth of cover. I do talk about it quite a bit. I think it's oftentimes a misunderstood topic, and it can relay, to many different things. The main premise being we need to have bedding for the does near food so that we have and can add more bedding for the bucks further back, and they can have their own space, less social pressure, all that kind of good stuff. But there's different things that you run into based on different properties and what we see. And that's what's so wonderful about obviously Jeff's long experience and the rest of us getting experience over the last couple of years and adding that with, a lot of clients that we see every year. It's been a wonderful journey. But for people that are reclaiming a lot of fields, this pertains to them probably fairly often. And so what I want to show you is back here we have this stand of woods, and this is a finger. Okay, you can see the finger and it ends. And there's this gap, and then we have a little more woods. Now this is actually another finger, but there's a good chunk. You got a couple acres of woods. You got this finger right here that we have, and it's mainly not enough for the deer to be comfortable in using this space a ton, not just for walking. Of course, they do walk back and forth, but to actually bed and utilize and connect this. And what happens is we have this food that I've shown you guys a few times, our main holding plot, if you will, after this finger. We have kind of our linear plots, and it goes to this larger holding plot that's a couple of acres. And if we can't have enough good doe bedding out near that food, what happens is the does are then at the next layer of wherever that good bedding is, which would be all the way back here. So now we have this 20 or so acres of field behind me and on the other side of this finger that are not being utilized appropriately. We have screening, we have some trail of food, and the deer definitely do come down it. But to hold more deer on the property, right, to capture the daylight movement of the deer we want to see, we have to have these things set in place. We have to give the deer what they need. And if you have that daylight movement, you could potentially be one of those herd influencers that captures, what 5% of properties probably capture. Okay, so that's what our goal is. That's what we need to work on, and knowing the problem and the issue is one thing, and solutions for that, but also getting the work done. So I'm gonna again be dropping off some of these T-posts in different areas, so when things are too wet later, our plantings come in, we can get out here as soon as possible to get those cuttings in while they're fresh, and fence them off for a year or two and get them growing. Because just envision, some 30-foot pockets are some pretty dang good sections with some trees and shrubs, some that will remain cover, some that will be good food for the deer, but giving them a bunch of things that they need to be able to live and stay and be more comfortable here during their daylight patterns. And I think connecting these woodlots will just add so much acreage to my property. Unfortunately, some of these fields, they just didn't regenerate the way I wanted. If you go back to another field after these woods I call the pea field, I have, poplars and other trees that are 5-6 feet tall. It holds moisture better, and that's great. So we're picking the lowest hole on the bucket, and we're fixing that. So you can see we have some of our younger pines, and you can see some of our older ones probably over there in the back that are a couple years. Some the deer have rubbed, so we will have some of our pine pockets to go around, or we could even incorporate that into the fence so that some of the pines get left alone as well. But things will be taking shape, and even though things look a little bit dead in the winter time. So super excited about this, super excited to get deer using these areas more and making it more beneficial for those does, again, to be closer to the food, to leave more space for the bucks here in the back, because they're using it. I tell a lot of my clients one of my favorite things to not only do, but has seen some of the biggest improvement in my property is getting some of those cuttings done and improving, doing our forest stand improvement back there. And I remember walking around with the forester last year, one, spring and summer after some cuttings, some winter cuttings, and was immediately finding one nice large deer bed being, probably a nice buck. So it was super cool to see that, and I've taken that with me and spread that around quite a bit because I want people to have that same kind of success. So that's it, guys. Fairly quick video today. Dropping these off. I'm gonna head back. We're getting back on the road here shortly once we get the RV out. So I hope everyone is getting their stuff done, getting ready for spring planting, getting their orders in for whatever they need. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We'll see you next time.